destiny for us, to our shame and disgrace. I am now the president-elect. I should assume office when the term of office of the incumbent expires on the 19th of January 2017. I do not want to preside over a country that is not at peace with itself. Hence, I am calling on all peace-loving Gambians to advocate, pray, and work for a peaceful transfer of executive power for the first time in our history since independence. If the colonialists could peacefully hand over executive powers in accordance with the dictate of the people of the Gambia, we the citizens should be able to show a better example to our children. I would like to conclude by assuring you that I will spare no effort to ensure that the Gambia remains a secular, democratic, sovereign country which will protect the right of each Gambian to hold and practice religion or creed of one's choice without any hindrance or discrimination. To ensure that the country realizes its full potentials, when I assume office, I have already commissioned the establishment of a think tank, namely Agency for Sustainable Socio-Economic Development, comprising of 7 experts in the area of politics, civil, economic, social, culture, and the environment, to coordinate the mobilization of experts who would prepare the development blueprint of my government. As it will be headed by a prominent member of my team and will be charged with the responsibility of inviting Gambian experts and concerned friends of the Gambia to send their CV so as to establish an expert bank, as it will then put together experts in relevant sectors to develop sectorial blueprint for our 3-year development agenda 2017 to 2020. The expert would be required to present a development blueprint, namely program for poverty eradication, sustainable social economic development, and development cooperation to the shadow cabinet on the 14th of January 2017. During my campaign, I did tell you, the people of the Gambia, that I have a strong team to rely on to meet your aspiration for inclusiveness in building a country which would ensure national unity in freedom, peace and prosperity for all. Let us all pray and counsel for the outgoing government to give peace a chance, that our peace-loving people would be protected from any harm as we enter a new year of hope. Let us all make a pledge as a New Year resolution that we will ever be true to our homeland, the Republic of the Gambia, forever.
This Republic was supervised by the Ministry of Local Government and Administration, and they appointed the electoral officer, electoral officer. My brother, the elections in the Gambia said that whatever is put in the ballot, you cannot cheat, because if the rules and regulations are followed, nobody will have cause to query. And because the previous elections, then IEC and that leadership which is not there now, made sure that they followed the electoral laws of this country to the letter, thereby dispelling any room for conflict. Now, the electoral law says, there's law, rather the electoral laws of the Gambia say that no polling or voting will start at any polling station unless all parties have their representative and they call polling agents at the polling station. It is when everybody is represented, all the representatives are there, that the IEC would allow people to start voting in the presence of everyone. Because what we have here is not the ballot papers, we have tokens. And each candidate has a box. Now, it is what is put in your box that is counted. In this situation, this election, our agents. We are the ruling party, we are the government of the day. Our polling agents were not allowed in from 8 a.m. to 1 o'clock in the afternoon in some stations, police, and these are major police stations. Now, they made everything possible to make sure that they go in and they were told that they keep them out of the vicinity. In elections in this country, all the past 4 elections, we make sure that the security do not interfere, and in fact we make sure that there's less security presence. Because each time I won, they say, oh, the soldiers, they say horrible lies. But of course when you think of people that are not moral values, that's normal. That all the soldiers were dancing in the street. The soldiers are Gambians, they are registered voters, and if they have a right to support any party. Should that intimidate anybody? The soldiers were going to vote and they were dancing. What is wrong with that? So, be it the Commonwealth, the European Union, the Americans, each time we have elections, they say the elections are not free and fair. And in most cases, it is the opposition that is always bent on violence to create an atmosphere of electoral violence so that they can use that to say, oh, it is the government that instigated it. But I always tell people to keep the peace and ignore the provocations. To the extent that I think in 2000, one of the elections, I think 2006 it was, the then opposition leader said I was going to teach the APRC a lesson. They got hold of one of our drivers. Not only did they beat him to death, they cut him into pieces. He was arrested and taken to a court of law where all the exhibits were made. And there was, at that time, we were members of the Commonwealth, where we had Commonwealth judges and technical assistants paid by the Commonwealth. And this Commonwealth judge made a funny ruling. The case dragged on for almost 2 years. And then they brought this Commonwealth judge to dismiss the case and say it was politically motivated. When you have witnesses coming to testify, pictures are shown of how they cut the body into pieces. And the judge said it was politically motivated, acquitted and discharged the criminal. And then left the country. Now, all attempts to appeal were frustrated. So,
yeah, Jemma cry baby.
The same person that early part of this year was
never thought I would see this.
Organized an illegal protest. But before going to the protest, he called the press and made a press conference that he is ready to die, but he's going out without a police car to protest. What does that really mean? Because a violent protest started and it was put off.
Violent.
Taking care of
a pathological liar.
To go out and die, but he's not going to ask for a permit. The same person that killed an APRC supporter, cut him into pieces, only to be freed by a corrupt Commonwealth judge under the influence of outside forces, and left the country. Now it's emboldened again to say that he's ready to die. Now if you say I'm going out and I'm ready to die, are you going for a peaceful demonstration? No. So he went out to protest, and but when he made the press conference, no Western country said anything about it. Which means that he was instigating trouble in this country.
No, because it's his constitutional right, you idiot.
No. I'm serving the interests of my country and my country. And what I want is what they don't want to hear from an African head state. Independent African countries developing peacefully. This is what they don't want to hear. I know I've made many enemies. Do I care? I don't. I care about what my relationship with Allah and the Gambian people. So, They were even making threats that, oh, if you don't release this guy, he was convicted by court of law. And then they were making threats that if I don't release the person, there will be sanctions. I said, I heard your voice. Whatever sanctions you want, the results will be determined by Allah, not you. And I cannot be blackmailed into accepting this. And they said he was protesting for electoral reform. The reform of the electoral process. And the guy himself is a lawyer. Now, what is the reform he is asking for? Now, this year. Because in our constitution there is no term limit, but there is age limit. So after the age of 65, you cannot contest for presidential election. And now, he wants us to change the constitution, that provision in the constitution, because he wants to contest again. But if you want to do that, you go to the courts. Constitutional reform cannot be enforced by intimidation and violence. We will not allow that. So maybe they would have told you that, oh yes, they are asking for political reform. The political reform they are talking about is a constitutional change, a change of what is in the constitution, which will of course require a referendum. So you cannot just go, and they were until I left, it was also planned by them and their supporters that they should do it when I was outside of the country. They did that when I was in the country. There's nothing they have not accused me of. But if prophets were accused of so many things, who am I to expect that nobody will accuse me of anything? So, coming back to these elections, as I said, when the results were announced, believing that the same system was used, I said, okay, I accept this. If this is the verdict of the king, this is my destiny. I accept it in good faith and I congratulated the party. Then I think this was on a Friday. Monday, I think, the same IEC that announced the results called all the parties to the headquarters and said that they have made mistakes in the results. They called and then stated that this is what has happened. That the result, the tabulation of the election results from the 53 constituencies was done correctly. Furthermore, regional election results were also tabulated correctly from Banjul to Basse administrative areas. However, when the total votes per region were being tallied, certain figures were inadvertently transposed. Instead of adding the total number of votes polled by Mr. Adam Aparo in the Basse administrative area, the IEC added the total number of ballots cast for Basse administrative area to Adam Aparo's total number of votes, thus swelling the number of votes Mr. Barrow polled nationally. This is very clear. It is not from me. And they said this error was repeated across for other contesting candidates.
Thank you.
This was an afterthought. But this is when they added.
Thank you.
Have you noticed this?
For you as well. Fucking prick.
And this is the actual result. You will realize that one, they didn't say the number.
I don't know whether you cannot speak English or what. Cannot read English or what.
Nelson. Now, so we realize that this is unacceptable. And the opposition themselves, if this was said about me, they would not accept the result. Investors would not have accepted the result. But because they have an agenda, their problem in Africa is behind them and other places too. And I stand to die for what I believe in. That because you are white or whatever color doesn't mean that I should worship you. Those days are gone when they were forcing us to, when we were there.
You are worshipping your wife who's an Arab.
They were the colonial
Yeah, prick.
Today, the only master is the Almighty Allah that I worship and nobody And I stand for what is right.